Hello, everybody. It seemed like a really hard transition.
Congrats, Scott, for getting the job. Working from home, going forward.
I ain't get a job.
Yeah.
I ain't get a job. I honestly, I didn't.
Commiserations, Scott.
Yeah, no, this is just
But
Neil being Neil.
but funny that you bring that up because I literally am applying for a job that would be working from home. I'd be
Told us,
taking.
actually.
Uh,
I believe it or not, do pay attention to the things Brit encouraged you to apply for it.
yeah. So they were the question,
I'm
the
not just a
conversation
pretty
just
face.
now. The conversation just now was about compensation. So more or less, what I was trying to do is have it be a transitional thing, so I no longer have to be out there. I could work from home, and have it not be a pay cut. And that conversation was, yeah. The people that would be like your supervisors really love you. They want to go ahead with more interviews, but let's talk about this compensation thing, because that ain't gonna work. so, so they were like, so Jake, you and I were talking about this beforehand, and it was one of those like, so yeah, there would be a decrease. Like, are you okay with that? More or less is the brass tacks. And I won't lie, the woman I just spoke to is pretty like hard. It's just pretty like plain, and I appreciate that as a person. And so I was like, yeah. Yeah, we can go ahead. But that's because obviously you guys know that what I've been trying to do for years now is transition to having Twitch be my solitary full-time thing. It's a very slow and arduous thing because in the United States we don't have healthcare. So you have to have a full-time job so that you can pay exorbitant fees for healthcare. If you don't have a full-time job, you pay even more money to have
that
even
is the
worse
weirdest-
healthcare. So
It is so
listen,
weird to
listen.
me that it's tied to your job.
Yep.
Like-
If you don't have a full-time job, you are fucked. If you don't have a full-time job, they don't even offer you healthcare. You have to get it through things like Cobra and whatnot. And again, you're paying more money for worse healthcare. That's just the way it goes. So
With a name like Cobra, yeah, I'd expect that.
Yeah.
yeah. Welcome to America.
Oh, by the way, while you're away,
Like, no
we
job
knew
to
that
get healthcare from.
we knew
Hydra
that Jake,
or Cobra? Hydra? Cobra.
while you were away, we knew that Jake would have to roll a 20. Didn't matter what stat you told him to roll. So he rolled.
Yeah,
rolled.
so I went ahead and rolled for you. So I rolled a d20 for whatever I rolled a 20 on the die for whatever you want me to roll.
I didn't want you to roll anything.
Well, I'll just use it for my next one. Thanks.
No, the Mama's Rough requires a roll.
No, it requires a roll for bluffing. It increases
Yeah,
your
there's-
bluff.
there's your
Allows you
bluff-
to just throw your
There's your
voice.
bluff check.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Except
No, it's funny.
except you rolled it wrong. You have to click the bluff button on your character sheet.
Well, lucky we'll just, you're a nice guy. We'll just take that. Thanks, Scott.
I
Sorry,
certainly will not.
too much. Scott, we can't really roll.
Shut up. There we go. Oh no.
What's he doing?
I opened Twitch again and my internet crashed before, so I don't know.
Oh, he's
what's going on
moving.
with
What? What is he doing?
There we go.
Oh, you hit a 20 behind him.
Neil's our 20 boy. He's the only one in his 20 somethings. You know, he always rolls in 20s.
Hey, I'm still 29 for now.
Test your roll.
Yeah, I got a couple days.
Oh,
I'll take it.
the worst thing was I watched a TikTok that was going through like a whole bunch of themes from old movies, and then at the end they showed how old each of the movies were, and I was just like, oh, I didn't need that. It's like Shrek, 20 years old.
Are all these
Oh.
all these 20s
Oh.
combined Scott's real age?
Get it when you look after a patient and you see their birthday is like 2000 and they're like
God.
they're 20 years old and they're
That
like
is so
a
weird.
full person. You're like, wow, okay.
Neil,
not
are you
okay.
using the wrong microphone?
No, shut
There you go. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. What I think it's Anjesh. Anjesh, yeah, not here, unfortunately. And if you don't have health insurance, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, but I mean, why are you stressing so much about health insurance? The short version is, if you don't have health insurance, and God forbid you ever have to use it.
I just interrupt really briefly. I just want chat to know that before we went live, Scott said, no, we haven't got time to talk. We need to get back into it. We've already eaten into so much KM6. And now here he is.
You detracted me. You. So the short version is, if you don't have health insurance and you have anything that happens to you, your bills come up to tens of thousands of dollars, if not greater, easily. I say all the time, when my wife gave birth to my daughter, it cost us over $10,000, almost $11,000 out of pocket after insurance. That is out of pocket. That means it went from my bank account to doctors after insurance did their job. After insurance covered most of the fees.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. It's insane. So it's,
like on one hand, there's a little bit of deterrent to having a child, which in some cases might be useful. On the other hand, it's not necessarily controllable, and it doesn't really feel like something you should tax in that way. I know it's not tax, but
it's like deterrent to having a child, but then there's a lot of people trying to stop you.
Yeah, with the don't you have a state that banned abortion? So pretty much you're kind of like almost putting a tax on the possibility of unprotected sex.
And now you and I are having a conversation. That's the conversation, right? That's the conversation. Good, you caught up. All right. So, anyways, let's kind of get back into it.
It's barbaric, is how I would describe it.
I don't know if I'm ever able to be 100% remote, and it doesn't matter what nation I'm in, I very well may move just to alleviate the tax on living. So.
Oh, hello, Governor. Welcome to England.
Oh no, I
That's what we all sound like, by the way.
I just go to Canada.
Everyone wants to go to Canada. I go to Canada.
Well, I go to Newfoundland. The cost of living is so low. You know what I mean? So, because nobody wants to live there.
It's because of the bears, though, right?
I mean, nobody wants to live there because it's cold. It's very cold.
Never mind.
All right, cool. Let's go on. So Costa's parking. Oh Jesus. What we got? So let's continue. You guys were going in and you saw Brain this way, and you don't know if they're coming in your tunnel, but you know that there's a bunch of Gith not too far back that way. So what is it that you tried to do? Ilen, you were in the middle of. You said
We should probably stop them from coming in our tunnel. We've just been discussing like the financial implications.
Oh, that was so good.
That was. I'm mad because it was good.
I love how witty Neil is. He's just so on point so quickly.
I thought we were back on track, and then Neil was like,
Nope.
Neil was like, but I'm your new
On the
boy.
Okay. Mom is rough.
Yeah, we mamas roughed it.
Yeah,
He threw his voice behind it.
So you threw your voice behind it, but those things have big brains. So what is your bluff check? If you can click bluff on your character sheet for me, please.
Oh, so he doesn't get to use the
I already
20?
rolled it, thanks.
The Mama's Wrath actually does add to your bluff check.
It does. I think it's like a plus 10 or 20.
I think it's a plus 20, but I'm unsure. I only know because
I'm sure he has it on his character sheet somewhere.
I don't.
Of course.
Damn it, Jack.
It's a season 1 item, alright?
It's a plus 10, which means it should have been on your character sheet for like 11 seasons.
Alright, you want me to add I'll just add the 10 on.
Raerin did have it for a bit, to be fair. It's been tossed around. It's a well-used item.
Wow.
It has, yeah. Oh, fuck. That was scary. I saw the 7 was like, oh no. Oh, wait.
Can you say that 20 was our bluff check then?
No. Oh, you already have 17 in bluff?
Yeah, we're leaders of Valorant. We have to lie a lot. You ever been to court with the slumbering queen?
Look,
Right.
he got tired of just intimidating everyone and decided to try something different. Oh!
Whoa!
Are we-
Don't do it. Oh, why? No, it's a
uh,
tie.
no, no, no,
it's
no,
a
no.
tie. It goes to us.
It's a tie. It goes to the
Oh, I
PC.
do go to the play. I don't even have to roll.
Oh my god!
I was about to say, are we about to have a luck off, and then you just rolled, and now I don't have to.
Well, no, you would have had to choose if you're going to use a luck before. But
Oh my lord!
Now we're good.
That was terrifying.
Scott's angry. He's crossed his arms.
Well, that's fucking insane.
oh,
Oh my lord!
jeez.
That was intense.
I've never seen such a case of blue balling for a DM.
Yeah, you're right. I couldn't even get excited about the intellect of ours last time. He just summoned right out to that.
I still love that I had no idea what I was doing.
It's one of those
when
things I was
found
like,
that out.
you boys ready to have some fun? Oh, you threw already? Okay. That was last combat, okay?
So you just
Still
threw
took
it
3 hours. All right.
Oh, that was so close.
Are you putting friends on? Are
That
you
was
putting friends on?
almost
Are you taking my phone to put friends on? Sure. She's putting friends on. All right, so back to you guys. So the she totally just came and took my phone and left. I hope she doesn't find all those messages to my.
Does that mean Iron Monkey's going to appear in chat?
No, she'd log it as Daelric. So if Daelric starts talking and saying nonsensical things, that's Brit. So, anyways, back to you guys. So you send out this like message. What is it that you actually say?
I said it was like nonsensical whispering, just like it's sound. I'm trying to like obviously get it to go the other way.
Someone whispering and trying to be not heard.
Gotcha. He's going to use nonsensical sound against an extremely intelligent creature, hoping that it's like, oh, like,
Well, remember, what was that you said? I can't make any checks on what this is because I have no idea about it. So,
yeah, but
yeah,
the dog boy
Nice,
told you.
dude.
The dog boy told you. So you make some noises the other direction, and the thing stops its progress, and will turn back and perceive that way for a bit. It takes a few steps back that way, but doesn't go completely walking off of out of sight. It takes a few steps back that way, like it's trying to investigate what it was that had made that noise. So it's still
can
nearby.
I throw myself
It's just-
further back again?
Ventriloquism has limitations to how far it can go.
Remember? Do you remember that time when we made a slight noise and this creature followed us like, I don't know, 400 feet, and then we made another slight noise and it was like, nah, I'm not interested.
The rocks fall. Everybody does. All right. There you go.
Ilen, because Ilen's not good at stealth or anything, Ilen would like and point back down the way we came.
Okay.
Just like someone have a look and see if anything's coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching this thing at the moment.
Sure.
Looks like this is a job for Mr. Fox. Hashtag T is for the strong. Justice for Norway. Oh, I'll let Scott finish typing. I know it's.
That is the range of Mummer's Rough.
Oh shit! Okay, so yeah,
It's not like
Yeah.
you're throwing this thing, a half mile away, right? You're actually
Yeah.
throwing it. The thing is actually further than where you were capable of throwing it, but it's still something that has certainly caught its attention, right? So it does have it distracted for a bit. It's a good item. It just has its limitations. So continue on.
Yeah.
Need to go and check up the way to see if there's any gifts coming in.
More or less, you're saying, you guys stay here. I'll go that way.
Yeah, but he's a fox, so he actually says none of that. He just sort of walks off.
Yep. Roll me your stealth check with your +8.
With my +8, right? Let me.
Si, senor.
Well,
Okay. Does that have the 8 on it?
yeah.
Beautiful. So you easily go tropping off to the point where I'm sure Ilen is kind of like looking at this thing, and then he looks back and where'd he go? And so he ninja'd out of there, and you go make your
I
way
get
over
it because he's a ninja.
to the front area to see what the heck's going on. Roll me a perception check, sir.
I hate perception checks. Artie, not.
You're able to see that the Gith that were a concern, they actually are inside the tunnel that you guys are in. However, it doesn't seem like they're coming particularly deep into the tunnels. It looks like they've made their way into the tunnel a bit. So they're doing something with the tissue that's here, with the vein that you guys happen to be inside. They're doing something with the tissue that's here. They're working on it. Two of them happen to be doing so. Probably prepping it for some degree of task they have ahead of them. You honestly can't make it out because, one, you don't understand medicine well enough, and two, it's a dead god. So you're kind of like in there just looking and trying to see what it is they're doing, staying to the shadows as much as possible, unable to make out too much detail. Back where the other two are, he goes walking off. By the time he gets up there and starts perceiving this creature that's opposite where you are, Jake, it's kind of looking about, turned its way back around, and it takes a couple of steps forward again. Doesn't progress any further than it originally was. It's back to literally where it was standing beforehand.
Could you lead those Gith towards this thing?
Well, if
Possibly.
you're talking, is Alaril back?
No,
I wouldn't be
Alariel
talking
is not
about
back.
This is
He
meta.
does
This
meta.
is like, is that a thing you could do?
He's
It's a
brainstorming.
possibility, but Alariel is like he's in small fox form and he is watching and not moving right now.
Just Ilen. This is like Ilen doesn't want to do anything because he knows how not good at stealth he is. So he's just like he's deer in headlights frozen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just keeping my eye on it at the moment. I guess Alaril's watching the Gith, and I'm watching this, whatever this thing is.
Okay.
Because we're kind of fucked. We're kind of stuck in this tunnel, and there's nowhere to go. We're like at a spot we said where we can go down another part, but I mean that's it, and that this thing is going to hear us once we move, most likely.
So staying where it is for now and just kind of waiting and listening for some time, it just stays there for a moment. And then you can see, both of you guys can roll me what's the word I'm looking for? A spellcraft check.
Oh no, I can't.
You still don't have a rank in spellcraft? Wow.
No.
Wow. That's funny. So you watching this thing, all of a sudden you see it kind of like press its face down towards the actual ground of where it is, and you see it kind of emits a bit of energy that you watch starts decaying the material around it. Literally like starts eating away at the material around it, causing it to crack and break and whatnot. Ilen, you're able to identify this as the opposite of what you do. It's actually inflict.
Inflict, yeah.
So it kind of looks down and does a bit of a flick to the vein that's there, and then spends a moment to. You can see that at the edge of its like little of the brain, because its whole body is a brain. You see little tentacles come out and start like kind of like grabbing, almost like using noodles for chopsticks. Kind of like grab and like wrap around and pick up the little bits that kind of broke off or whatever that's there, and they're able to pick it up and start consuming what's there. And then it uses a claw, one of its four paws, to like claw and break away all of the little area that it just kind of weakened with that spell. And it starts nomming on it as it does so. While it's doing this, why don't you guys roll me a perception check real quick? And then back to you, Neil. So you notice that they're continuing to work on this tissue. They do come in a little bit further from where they are, but again, looks like they have no interest of actually coming down the tunnel. It looks like they're just kind of like more or less backing their booty in as far as they need to continue working on what's in front of them, and they kind of like will make out and make their way forward to continue working on the tissue to a degree. With the perception check you would roll beforehand, it takes a while, so time passes before you notice this, but it almost looks like they're putting a degree of like they're grafting something to the tunnel itself. In modern days, you can imagine this as being a degree of like microtubing that's used almost like stints that's used to kind of like keep veins or arteries or whatever it is open, right? To cause them to like stay, like have like a degree of like
A stint.
yeah, to like keep them so that they're not going to get clogged as easily. Not going to.
I seen one of those put in. It was so cool.
But you're
Wiggled it down. I'll tell you the story later.
yeah. So anyways, you're seeing something like that almost being installed, but not the way that you would do it modern medicine. You're dealing with a severed limb, right? It's almost like they're rolling it out around the circumference of the vein from where it is, and it comes in a bit to the vein and sticks out a bit towards the ends. Like they're adding a bit of form to it, so it's not gonna be flopping around anymore. It's actually gonna have like a bit of a strength to it. And so they have that going on there, and that's what they're working on. We're gonna go back to them over there. With your perception check, Grishka, you can see that as it's consuming the whatever it is that it broke it free, I think you're like much closer than you were beforehand, better light than you had beforehand. You can actually see as it's consuming it, it seems like the little sparks or lights that you see on it are pulsing more and more brightly and rapidly than they were beforehand. So it's consuming whatever this material is.
Okay.
What do you two do?
Watch.
So you're just staying there quietly watching. Neil, what do you do as you're watching them putting the stint in? Yeah, so for those at home, it's like almost like a wire mesh. Almost like if you can imagine the mesh paper you put up when you're drywalling, or like almost like the mesh that you would put, like think like the screen inside your the aerator for your faucet. So, but back to you now.
I think once he's satisfied that, like, I mean, this is a reasonably large size piece of equipment that they brought down and put in. Once he's satisfied that they're not carrying other equipment to like bring in further, he would creep back to the others, towards the others.
One more stealth check for you as you're trying to sneak away without them noticing. If you keep rolling this high, I'm not even rolling on my side because it's just too high for me to even. Oh yeah, exactly. Because they can hit numbers like 30. The issue is that they're distracted, so they take a -5 and they're not actively looking. And anyway, so you easily creep your way back. So you creep your way back, and as you're making your way back, the two of you notice this thing finished its meal of kind of like hitting it with the inflict wounds, clawing at it to break up whatever was loose there from the inflict wounds, and consuming it, causing like a little bit more brightness and a little bit more activity happening around the sparks around the brain. And then it starts moving forward again. It's not like it's moving quickly, but it definitely starts walking forward at a comfortable pace. It's very quickly approaching to you because you're just sitting there.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to move back to the tunnel, down the tunnel that the Gith are in.
Gotcha. So so you two decide to yeet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's the look.
I mean,
look at it. Look at it.
guys-
Look back.
guys-
Look down the tunnel.
guys are thinking with your smooth brains. This is the astral plane. It's on one side of the tunnel. You can be on the other.
We don't have to sneak past that.
The tunnels aren't
Yeah.
super. The tunnels aren't super. Remember, they're wider now than they were beforehand, but they're not super wide. It's
And-
Lying down, it would pass.
but it would also instantly perceive them as soon as it came
It
close.
has. It may not have
that's
eyes,
true.
but it has blind
Yeah.
sense.
It doesn't even have blind sense; it's blind sight.
Oh, okay, great.
Those are differentiated. Those are different things in so more or less, blind sight gives you the ability to perceive things. Like we're talking, what's his name there?
Freya from KOTOR 2, the blind lady who sees through the Force.
Oh yeah,
She
sure. There you go.
sees
Perfect.
everything.
Perfect. There you go. I was gonna go a different route, but that's fine.
It's fine.
Okay,
I
so-
guess.
I was gonna say
we-
Daredevil.
we-
So
I learned recently they got that wrong in the show, that even though they like showed it as him looking,
oh my
he has like a
the best one
radar, but it's not visual to him at all.
It's too high.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like
Oh,
echolocation.
thanks,
It's not, but
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
he senses
yeah.
everything in a
In the
much
show,
different-
he said that he could see, but it's a world on fire, which is not what it was in the books, comic books apparently. Anyway, we should move. I'm scared to move, but we should move.
Yeah.
What you guys getting?
There's many more types of
I need you guys just to roll me your stealth checks as you're trying to get away. Unless you're trying to again scramble, just like yeah.
If this thing reacts, I am going to Mama's Rough again to the other vein, the offshoot vein thing.
Okay. So
Uh,
so you guys are trying to stealth away first.
Oh, you could do that first.
Jake, you roll first.
Really?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. There's nothing suspicious here. Nailed it though.
See, I had a feeling like it was going to be another high roll because we saw a bunch of medium rolls and a low roll. So I had a feeling like the next one was going to be a high roll. You know,
So he wanted to make him do it so I could get a low roll.
odds
you
are
see,
odds are in our
jokes
favor.
on-
No.
Scott.
We just rolled
I'm
two
gonna get a 20.
19s.
Damn it.
Oh.
Well, you got a medium roll though. You didn't get a low one.
Oh.
Oh,
Fuck.
apparently. And I'm just checking. Yep. Nope. You haven't gotten any in a long time.
Well, that's not good.
I guess we just sit here and we watch as it eats as it eats
Actually,
Ilen's
hold
brain.
up.
That
Hold up. You guys got the one from Green Forever Go. Then you got the two from Vance and one from Green Forever Go. Then Viking Magoo gave you one that was never added. I just scrolled up to look. You actually do have one. Viking Magoo added it an hour ago. Click it again, sir. Ah! True Blues. True Blue.
Anyway, I would like to note that I have 40-foot movement speed right now.
I would like to know that just now, after the Twitch chat pool of luck roll, you received Winifred's wisdom. Just so that you're aware. That's from Vance, and Vance said,
Thank
"I'm
you.
sorry, Tesh."
It's appropriate.
Okay. All right. So, you start trying to get out of there as quietly as possible. Grishka's pretty freaking quiet. He's quieter than a mouse fart. You know what I mean? Like he is making his way out of there with incredible ease. Ilen, however, is kind of like one of those. As he goes to stand up, he feels a little crick in the knees from sitting there for as long as he has been, and his elbow kind of pops
What's
a
really
bit.
fucking ironic about this is I'm the one that has the better acrobatics than he does.
Listen, he can walk softly. He's just not a nimble boy. So you crick in the knees and the popping in the elbow, whatever it is. Which I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean his arms are so withered that like the bone just goes.
Just bone on bone, no cartilage or anything. Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
It's like no, there's cartilage. There's just no synovial fluid. It's just like
Oh God. Like,
you know mortar and pestle like.
Oh God! Oh no!
Oh,
Oh.
fuck.
Oh. You just made Otto swerve, okay? You just made Otto swerve. It's like, almost hit a puppy because of you, Neil. All right. So
That's horrible.
he gets up and starts moving forward, and again the thing stops. It kind of like leans its whole body, which is a brain forward, seemingly listening. Then it moves more quickly. Good news and bad news.
Mama's Rough, please.
Good news is, bad news is it's moving more quickly towards you. Hey, Jake, you yeeted. You're out of there. You're gone. You didn't even.
You made me
Just
roll before
kidding.
Tesh. I
Just
specifically.
kidding.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
The good news is the artery that's here. The valve that's here in the vein, and makes it a lot more difficult for it to just pass through. It actually has to actively make its way through there. So it does stop for a moment to literally shrink in size. You literally see the creature go to become smaller size. So I mentioned before, and it was the size of almost like a Newfie. Now it's more like the size of a I'm trying to think of a good dog here. Almost like the size of a golden lab or a black lab, right? So decent size, but much smaller than it was beforehand, allowing it to more easily pass. While it's taking that moment to literally kind of like go down in size, the visual literally being almost like you're watching something move. Like a bright light move in darkness, where it has kind of like a trailing effect behind it. You see almost like its big size trailing with its opacity, dropping as it gets smaller. This is when you're going to use your Mummer's Rough really quickly to see if you can kind of distract it. It's closer now, so you're going to be able to kind of throw behind it. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I wanted to throw where the
The other way, yeah.
You know where the yeah. All
What
right,
are you going to
so,
say? That's the important bit. How are you going to seduce this beast?
knowing that the icon told me all about it and know everything about this thing. I know what it is, what it likes, what its interests and hobbies
It
are.
was just it was fading. Somebody
so
spelled
what,
his ending.
yeah, that's
Summon him
right.
back,
And,
Tash. Go ahead.
So he will use the Mama's Wrath and say, it hears us quickly, quietly. Let's go.
All right.
Down here.
Roll your bluff.
Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho.
Oops, that's not where I wanted to put that modifier.
You just doing a little dance there, Scott? So
I was playing with my chair. Is that with a +10? It is.
Yeah, that's so low. I'm rolling so fucking
Do you
low.
want to try to luck that before I roll?
sorry. Wait, what did you actually roll there? A 5. Okay,
5.
I was like, how is this low? That's a 32. That's
Do you-
fine.
Do you want me to? I'm pretty sure I should luck this if we have any luck.
Yeah, we don't want to
What
get
do you
tempted
think?
between the two things. Yeah.
It's up to
Yeah.
you.
I'm gonna try, to be honest.
I mean, what if this boy's our friend?
Yeah, 35.
All right, so you're at a 35. I have a +17. The likelihood of getting a 35 is next to none. Thanks,
thank fuck.
thanks for your luck, though. So
Well, you nearly hit it last time. You
Well,
actually hit it
Scott,
last time, right?
Scott, are you sure you don't want to daddy's dice that? You might make it.
Yeah.
this isn't lost initiative. You can't trick me with higher tier dice. So or I'll actually use them. We blow through those. It's nice. So you
What do you mean we blow through? Sorry, slight aside. That last combat with these little intellect of ours, you went through like.
So we are gonna have happen next is that the you guys are starting to sneak your way along. You actually trick the creature to, again, it doesn't go careening down that tunnel because it moves forward cautiously, right? It actually goes to the edge of that tunnel and stops and listens for a moment as you two are trying to make your way down the tunnel that you're making your way down. Fortunately for you lot, as you're walking away that way, you see a cute little prancing fox coming its way towards you. I hope Shinny has you in fox form too, Neil. That would be.
I hope so too, but you're not going to want to see the fox form image after you've seen the human image. You're going to be
no.
thirsty.
Shinny, give me my picture.
She's working.
I want early press release.
No
Please.
deal. I have no plan for this situation. I'm a fox. I'm going to act like a fox and move to the other side of the wall that this creature is on. If it's on the bottom, I'm then on the top, which is obviously my bottom and its top. And then
Are
I
you,
will.
are you going past us?
Yeah, you're walking
Back.
towards them too.
Yeah.
So what are you trying to say?
But the creature's behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're. So what are you doing?
Look,
Are you
I'm
walking
just-
past us?
I am prepping for shit to hit the fan.
Okay.
I'm not walking past you. I'm preparing for when it inevitably
Yeah.
ignores the Mama's Wrath for whatever reason.
I get you now.
And I'm just waiting. I'm prepping to watch Ilen get his brains eaten, devoured.
What? No, Ilen will just get back up and join you guys in the quest again.
Right. It's not ominous. Right. Okay.
How do you know it hasn't already happened to Ilen? This is good coffee. This is still very hot.
Okay. So moving on.
Wow, no way. That's savage.
Wow. Listen, Norby, I know Jake is from.
Well,
no, Jake, sorry. I know Tesh is from
just,
Adelaide, but you gotta. Oh, that's that Australian internet again. Dude, your camera came back so much more zoomed in. Ah,
What?
when you turn up your camera, it's like, boom. I was like, whoa. Oh.
That's really weird. Let me fix that.
So basically, Alarel is taking no action. He's remaining stationary once he arrives.
Okay. Perfect. So you guys walk up. You see Alorel coming towards you. Stops. You guys see you go towards Alorel. Does anybody say or do anything?
You can tell that he doesn't look particularly worried coming from that direction.
Yes, the
This is-
fox doesn't have much of a facial expression.
Well, I'm about to explain why, if you'd shut up for a minute, old man. Because his tail is very sleek. It's not all fluffed out. His hackles aren't raised. He doesn't look like he's scared.
Okay, well, look, I'm gonna look to one with like that sort of the quizzical do we fight sort of look.
What, can you give me, Jake? Could you please roleplay for me a quizzical do we fight sort of look?
No, well, it would literally.
You mean
First of all, I'm
Tesh.
You mean
Tesh.
Tesh? God.
Damn it! That time was. God damn it! Sorry.
It would be a case of
It's very similar to like asking for, you like, it's like,
I would just kind of motion to Alorel and like backwards, and then like it's coming.
if he's setting up on the other side of it, I'll wait till he's in position and then.
I mean, Alorel, if like you guys look like you're about to panic, Alorel would revert into the human form.
oh, you can do
and-
that right by us. Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then
And say, looks like they're attaching something. Not coming in though.
This thing was heading here. I tried to distract it into a different vein. I don't know if it worked.
When his facial expression doesn't get the message across, he just flat out asks, "Do we fight?"
Oh, he asked, do we fight? I thought he said we'll be fine.
no, I said, do we fight? Sorry,
I'm
I
glad I
actually
made my joke
whispered
then.
just because I'm panicking.
Well, this is
Alorel-
back to a wait and see, I guess.
Don't mind you.
Alorel.
Don't mind Neil. He can't hear him. He can't hear you over himself.
I got nothing. Alorel gives you like a sort of a look of distaste at like Ilen's panic. He's like, no. This is the part where you tell us what the intellect devourer is doing, Scott.
Well, if you guys are literally just standing there waiting,
Yeah.
cool.
What choice do we have?
We should head a bit further away though.
that's what I thought you guys were gonna do.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Sure.
what I want to do.
Like one's pursuing, one is not. Let's get as close to that one without them noticing us. Perfect. Cool. So obviously, you can have the Alorel turning back into the little fox form, so he can easily scout ahead and be like, "Nah, stop here." Like wave the tail. Stop here. Stop here. And you guys continue making way forward. That way, you don't get noticed by the GIF. You're welcome to do that. Go ahead and roll me a perception check as you're walking up there. So Alorel, when you get up there, your perception check is going to be everybody roll, please. Your perception check is going to be looking at the actual GIF themselves to see kind of like what area they're in. Follow your perception check with an intelligence check for me, please, Alorel.
To be clear, I don't like wag my tail to get them to stop. I bite their little hands or feet.
You're too okay. Feet works. That works. I accept that.
Thank you.
Oh,
Fox brain.
That's right. Someone got devoured. So you funny. You have a +0. I have a feeling like your character is the least likely to be eaten by one of these creatures.
I'm a fox. Why would you eat a fox if you're an intellect devourer?
If I remember correctly, one of the best ways to this is an old school thing. One of the best ways to choose the target, if it's not like an obvious choice because they're already helpless or whatever it is, if they're actively choosing the target, they're going to go for those with the most brainwaves, right? So you take the 3 mental stats, you add them up. The biggest number is who they would almost be attracted towards, kind of like how mosquitoes kind of like pick up pheromones or whatever that they're attracted
Fuck.
towards, right? Yeah. You take the 3 mental stats, add them up, and that's your tasty boy. So for 2 reasons: 1, bigger brain, more juice, more yummy, but also 2, most likely weaker physical stats, so easier to have your meal. So
Actually, I
juicier
don't know.
and easier to grab.
Pardon me. I don't know.
So,
One has quite a high wisdom.
Let's forget about that now.
but
Let's
yeah,
not
so
talk
so
about
let's Jake's like, oh, I'm in the middle.
I don't know what you mean, Green. This is like a city. Of course, there's going to be foxes here. The Gith are like, oh, the foxes are in the astral bin again.
So, oh, what's the name of that bird in Australia? So,
that. Ibis.
what is it?
Bin chicken.
Big chicken.
Yeah.
I need that video again. If you could send me that video of that guy being funny about those things. I don't think I showed it to Brittany last time. I need to show it to her.
So I very rarely see those around. I saw one near my house the other day for the first time in like years, honestly, since I've seen one.
So, so Viking or Jake or whoever, send it to me in Discord, please, on the spoilers chat. Back to the game. So you guys are able to make your way up and stop LRL. You understand? They literally look like, God, they're cleaning up. They're finishing up. I mean, by cleaning up, I mean they're grabbing together the supplies that they were using that clearly they meant to use again. They're going to leave behind any trash because who recycles? It's the astral plane. So trash means future land. No, so they're going to leave behind any like excess stuff, like a typical American military base moving out of an area they were occupying, and take back basic equipment. So they will look like they're leaving in probably the next minute or two. Whereas, unfortunately, with Jake's perception check looking behind, that creature looks like it's going to be getting here sometime soon. Again, it moves slowly, it moves cautiously as it's listening or perceiving as it goes. You don't know how far it can perceive. But this creature definitely came within 60 feet most recently, this past time that you're aware of it. Tesh knows that, or whoever it was, knows that the other ones could, I think it was actually LRL, knows that the other ones could perceive you up to 60 feet out. And this one seemingly was able to pick up whiffs of you greater than 60 feet away. So there's a really good chance that this thing has always been able to perceive you since you've moved through that tunnel and just has continued to pursue you for whatever reason, not actively jumping in and attacking, whatever the reason might be. But it is definitely come closer again, and unfortunately it's coming to that range where it's coming within 100 feet again, and you've got easily a minute or so before these Gith go to leave. That's a good 10 rounds. What is it you guys do at this point? Caught between a brain and a stint.
Okay.
The only thing I can do is continue to try and distract it.
Let's take it.
Fucking ask what the fuck it wants.
It might be worth...
We're caught between. We
It
have to
might be
wait for
worth
the
trying
Gith to
talk
finish
it.
up.
Which is about a minute.
Yep.
What the fuck do I... Because I've got diplomacy. What the fuck do I say to it?
I mean, do you want me to try and talk to it with the mum? If it can sense us or whatever, I don't even know how the fucking thing. I don't even know what this is. So while you're thinking,
Can I make a check to sort of figure out what language it might use?
You know that it said something in one of your minds before.
Oh yeah. But I guess the issue is what language it understands. Because talking to us in our mind is one thing.
it spoke. Yeah, I was gonna say it spoke to me in that.
In
your mind.
So I guess I just
to
knew
you
what
in
it
your
was,
mind
yeah.
is one thing.
Yeah.
Whether it's actively listening and what it can understand that way is different.
You have no idea.
Why don't you just use the mummer's ruff to throw the noises of the Gith working slightly further?
I can't do that.
It's also only like 50 feet.
The mummer's ruff you can use it to mimic noises.
Well, what do you mean by throw the noises of the Gith further? Because this thing would have to pass by you to get to the Gith.
Yeah, but if it thinks that there's only a couple of us, then it might carry on. But if it hears it doesn't know how many there are right now, but if it hears like these things have clearly existed in hiding for a period of time, I wonder whether or not it would continue to exist in hiding if it thought it was going to encounter a large group of people?
It's a good question. It's up to you. He's saying more or less make the noises of the Gith closer to it.
Yep.
I mean, am I able to do that? I don't. I have to mimic the Gith working. Is
I'm
that
sure
what
the
am I-
Mummer's Rough has two components: the throw voice and
It's
mimic.
bluffing, but it is on,
So it gives a
bluff.
+10 to bluff to imitate
It's
another's
copy voice, I think. Yeah.
In addition, once per day, you can throw your voice as if using ventriloquism for up to 5 minutes. The thing is,
Oh,
like,
that's
he used it. He's still within the area of using it. He's only used it you never use it. Yeah, you only use it since you got here. You didn't use it earlier.
yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Which is fine. I'm fine with that. You're all within the parameters.
You get the +10 to bluff, to imitate another's voice.
Yeah.
Little
So
bit loose.
can I do a knowledge planes check based on what the guy told me last time to try and like search my brain for info on this thing?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Oh, I don't know what you're trying to find out.
Languages that might
While he's doing that-
and whether they're known for being able to be talked to at all, like if they're that if they're always hostile, or if it can be reasoned with.
I mean, go ahead. You roll for me, and I'll tell you what I can tell you. And Jake, what was your question?
Panic setting in a little bit to an extent. He just flat out says, makes it obviously appear behind it again. And he's like, "What do you want?"
So with your knowledge planes check, Tesh, with your knowledge planes check, you're able to remember, again, these things are susceptible to protection from evil, right? So it acts for whatever reason, even though it's not one, it acts as though a summoned creature. So it has all the limitations of a summoned creature for things like protection from evil. So if you even have that spell on you, it cannot harm you. It cannot attack you. You're protected against it, right? Unfortunately, I think you guys are out of all of your protection from evil spells. Magic Circle makes it so even beyond that, it cannot even approach you. It has to stay a distance away, which is a wonderful, if you're ever in a campaign, this to the viewers, where you come across intellect devourers and you're not metagaming, you can perceive this, you know about the creature. That is a huge boon to have. It will save your ass. So definitely a beneficial thing to put there. But moving on. Beyond that, you know that these creatures are very keen. They are vastly more intelligent than the average person. I mean, that a PC, no. Looking at your character sheets, one of those average ones, let me just look at your character sheets real quick and compare it to you. And where's Ilen? Here we go. So Grishka's got an intelligence of, I think, 12, right? It's slightly boosted at the moment. So more intelligent than Grishka, right? This is the average ones. Ilen is actually about as keen as the average one of these things. You know what I mean? Though this one seems to be enhanced to one degree or another. Vastly more intelligent than Aurorum. So this thing is more keen than the group of you, or at least about as keen as the most intelligent of you, right? So that being said, it's not something that's easily tricked, right?
Well, there's like there's a difference between being smart and being able to be reasoned with. Like if something is predatory in nature and can't be reasoned with, but is incredibly smart, that's one thing.
To be clear, it is not only predatory in nature, it is also alien to you. Mechanically, it's an aberration. There is no creature further from a basic human than an aberration, right? You think animals, well, that's pretty close, right? Because humans are animals too, right? Magical beasts, so those are magically enhanced, but still semi-natural creatures. They naturally exist in the world, so on and so forth. Okay, cool. So again, somewhat close. Then you think of like outsiders and whatnot. Okay, well, those are generally speaking reasoned creatures, so long as they have a decent enough intelligence score. But then when you get to things like aberrations, sans unintelligent ones like oozes and undead and constructs, when you get into things like aberrations, that's about as alien as you could possibly get. They think in ways that are so perpendicular, so different, or so removed from the way that a typical person does. I love you so much. Thank you. That you it's hard to kind of perceive with them, but they can still be communicated with, right? You can still come to a degree of understanding between you and them, even if it is outside of the realm of what you would typically find the understanding you like. Their motives are kind of to a degree outside of your ability to easily perceive, you know?
It is possible we could talk to it and it will understand, but its ways of thinking would be very, very different. We could tell it that there's lots of Gith out there, and if we fight, they'll come.
Well, while Ilen was thinking, I had said that. Did it do anything?
I'm sorry, no, my apologies. What were you saying?
I used the Mama's Rough before.
Oh, so you asked Mummer's Rough, did that do anything? So what did you say? What did you say one more time?
Oh yeah.
I said, "What do you want?" or something like that.
And so it's actually going to respond simultaneously to all of your minds. And it'll say, to understand. Perception check.
Sense motive the alien.
Alorel, you don't have to roll. Just these two do.
Oh, perception.
Yep.
Oh, I was so caught off guard that I get nothing.
Grishka and Alorel, you both notice that as you hear to understand in your minds, the two Gith that are inside the tunnels, that are just like picking up their stuff, cleaning up to go,
Oh, fuck.
suddenly stop and like look at each other. And like one of them, you can see that they're almost having like a nonverbal communication for a moment, and then start to stand up to they're tall creatures to as straight as they can inside like how small the tunnel is, and start like looking about. One of them is going over towards the very edge of the tunnel and like has its hand on like one of the flaps that are there, like leaning outwards, looking about, and the other one turns around and starts making its way into the tunnel, looking to perceive inwards to what the heck's going on inside.
Alarel will revert to human form and say, invisibility, now. And then he will activate his own invisibility, disappear, and say, get it to speak again. Use the invisibility powder.
Yeah, so
I mean, we're going to use it.
do we have enough uses?
We do. We have two.
We have one.
We have one?
We have one.
We have one left? I thought we had two left for getting out.
That's what I thought.
Chat, correct me if I'm
Oh,
wrong.
no, it was two because he turned into a fox instead of using it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. You were able to save it with Alorel. You were able to save it with Alorel.
Yeah.
My apologies. My apologies. It is.
Okay, so we do have two. Then yes, use it.
Neil wants his BP. I get it.
Can I? So
I do. Give me my BP. Give me my horses.
can I try and like think towards it, like almost like reply to the voice in my head, like think in that sort of like manner of speaking?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. There's
And
a
I
two-way
threw
radio.
towards it. His head just like
I would say the two approaching behind us may be hostile. They're Githyanki.
Oh, he's so nice. So all those guys, those are the bad guys. So you said two behind us approaching are hostile.
I would say Githyanki.
And then all of a sudden these two kind of like green skinned guys with these like kind of like filed sharp teeth start walking up with these huge, like deep hats that have like spangled stars and it's red, white, and blue on there. And big cape,
And wait, what? I wasn't paying enough attention there.
some macaroni inside there, So Githyanki came to town riding on.
Fucking, that went right over my head for way too long.
Can somebody rewrite that song to be Githyanki? That'd be awesome. All right, so anyways, back to it. Cell's good at that. Cell's good at that shit. So back to it. You You say that to try to like warn the creature, the Githyanki. That doesn't seem to interest it or disinterest it or anything like that. You're not really able to perceive how it is that it's thinking or anything. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't react in any way whatsoever that you guys notice. But very quickly you see that Alarel, I believe, says, time to go invisible, whatever it was that you had said there. And you also spend a key to turn invisible, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so he goes invisible, trying to triggering
against
to
wall.
you guys to make yourselves invisible. Do either of you try to fairy dust all over you?
Yeah, we both.
Yeah,
wanna
we're
go
trying to turn invisible. Yeah.
Okay. So you produce the pouch very quickly. Obviously Grishka's going to grab a fistful, and you're going to grab whoever has the second fistful is going to just start flailing the bag over their head, so it's dumping out the last little bit on them. And you can see yourselves starting to sparkle and dissipate and turn invisible as previously described, right? As you're doing this, the mind says, "I'm aware that you're here."
We're not hiding from you.
It is going to, because again, it's calculating, right? It's trying to decide what is the best bet here. It starts to move forward as the Gith are moving forward as well. And as it's moving forward, I just want to double check an ability really quickly. Yep, it never used, I think it only used this once while it was fighting you guys, or maybe it never did. You see as it's walking forward, it also starts to fade from view, turning invisible
perfect.
itself. So the Gith start walking this way, as all four of you, the brain and the three of you, are all invisible. And it's moving past. As it's moving past, of course, because it's moving in front of the three of you, you can feel it brush against one of your legs. Let's say the thick boy here is Jake. You can feel it
That's
brush
so
against your leg.
just like, oh.
It's literally brain matter pressed against your leg, leaves behind almost like a snotty residue on your actually, like, you look down and yeah, you're invisible, but you can feel like it's like tacky there, you know what I mean? Anyways, it moves past, and then you can actually see that the what are they called? The Gith start looking about, and they don't say anything out loud either. They seem to also be having a bit of communication. And then one of them gets like a bit rigid, like as it notices something else is coming forward, and very quickly goes to react. As it goes to react, utilizing whatever ability it has to affect the creature in front of it, you guys see almost like a glowing orb happen around where I guess the intellect devourer is, because you can't see it. Roll me a spellcraft check if you happen to be able to perceive it. If you happen to be able to be skilled in it, my apologies. Ooh, that's a good one, Ilen. So just you?
Yeah.
Ilen, you're able to realize it just put up a globe of invulnerability. It is impervious to spells of a certain area or lower. Impervious to any area of effects
Holy
that would be over
shit.
there. Nothing can pass into it, so on and so forth. So it actually just made itself impervious to a lot of magic, right? Like this would handicap most of the AC. And most of the people outside of the AC, because they're not allowed to utilize magics above this tier, right? So, anyways, it throws up a globe of invulnerability around itself, putting up a shimmer that dissipates and only reappears when other abilities are trying to affect it, and kind of like hits like the wall and shimmers for a moment and dissipates again, right? So you see it put up a globe of invulnerability, and then you can see like they're as they're getting ready and drawing their silver swords and whatnot that you see opposite, all of a sudden you see one of them just starts talking out loud.
Confused.
As the one on the opposite side, like closer to the actual entrance, starts doing that. The one that's in front looks back and kind of shakes its head and has its sword at the ready, kind of like closes its eyes and takes a breath as it's kind of like steadying itself, once again trying to perceive the creatures around it, as once again discussed beforehand. And then it kind of like stabs at the darkness as the actual intellect devourer comes into view and tries to strike at the devourer itself. It successfully hits the devourer, to be clear. It actually does hurt it, but again, these things have such a high DR that how much does it actually hurt it? Probably not that much at all. As you start to see this happening, the one behind this one rushes forward and attacks its ally with the "Hey, what's up, Bossy?" Rushes forward and attacks its ally from behind with a sword, hitting it, and it's like you can hear it let out the one in front let out an audible noise as the one behind it continues like attacking at it. The one in front, knowing that it has a degree of it's kind of being outmaneuvered at the moment because of what's happening. He goes to defend himself and deftly starts defending himself before also just kind of like standing there and like blinking for a few moments and just kind of like defending itself while
They're fucked.
blinking as it seems to be dazed as well. And you guys are watching this creature, these Githyanki have defenses. They're prepared for fighting what are they called? Other creatures like this. They're prepared for it. But there's only 2 of them, as opposed to the 3 of you. And this seems to be one that is tiers more powerful because of how easily they're succumbing to its abilities than the ones that you had faced beforehand. So here you are, on the inside of the tunnel, with that past you now, closer towards being able to leave the tunnel. What do you do? You have
It didn't attack us, and it knew we were there.
Yeah, I'd say I'm getting the feeling this thing was just like following us to find out rather than attack us, which means it might honestly be the best idea to talk with it and explain why we're here.
I mean, this thing seems to know where we are at all times.
Yeah.
Where do we go? That's what I mean. Like, what, slip past them fighting and in this narrow tunnel, and then
we're not
go
I don't think
outside? We're running low on options here.
it
Alarel
wants to
would,
understand, is what it said. So
Alarel would say we could slip up one of the other veins.
that's an option. Go back to an intersection and back down.
This thing seems to know where we are. It said it wants to understand. I think we should pull back, like you said, Alaram. Watch what happens here, and then try and communicate with it again. If it rushes us, then we go.
You see what it's doing to those Gith? If it
It's
rushes
got a-
us, one of us is going to die.
It's got a field of invulnerability around it. Spells are going to do nothing. Or the spells of a certain tier are going to do nothing.
We'll start falling back then. I mean, I do want to know what happened. Did you say one's already down?
Not yet.
They're both blah, 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 blah.
One was confused, one was dazed.
Oh, okay.
While we're moving backwards, I would say out loud, in a whispered conversation, did you hear it in your mind before?
Yes. I think they did as well, which is why they started advancing.
Yeah, has anyone spoken with it?
I directed my...
Because we all heard that to understand again, right? We all heard that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All 5 of you.
I don't know whether it understood, but I informed it that those were a threat and Githyanki, and then I also told it that we weren't hiding from it when we turned invisible after it said it could still see us. I don't know whether it was me directing my thoughts at it. I don't know whether it understood.
Try talking to it now as we're pulling back. It might be able to talk and fight at the same time.
What should I say?
Fucking anything. Is this thing gonna attack us or what?
Do you need help?
You could ask it that. I don't really think
Do
it
you
does.
want help? Do you want help?
Go for it.
Well, I want neither
Krishka,
way.
you can see his obvious, there's an obvious look in his face where he's just but go for it.
I mean, it's this thing is dangerous as fuck. The thing is, we go a different way, What do we do when we get to that other vein?
I don't know. Be like, making our way downtown, walking
Just catchy
past.
song.
Oh, baby.
Hey, I was
brain,
about to
do,
say-
do, 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 baby brain, do, do, do,
I was
do,
literally
do,
about to
baby
say
brain,
exactly
do, do,
that.
do, do, do. Oh.
I think we're forgetting as well that six of us heard it.
5.
Oh no,
Gotcha.
6.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Deal, what's your vote? If you heard us.
Alarel is swiftly pacing out of the deadly, horrific creatures area.
Yeah. We are also moving that way.
I think we go. Yeah.
But-
I think.
I think you should try and talk to it anyway to see if you get a response. But you can talk and move at the same time.
Yeah, I'm going to start moving, but I'm also going to sort of direct to it. Do you want help? Do you? Yeah, just do you want help?
You say, do you want help? It'll respond saying, unnecessary.
Okay. So it can. Interesting.
So you're talking in your mind, right?
Yeah, I wonder how far we could do this as long as I just think about it and direct my thoughts towards it.
I can answer that question for you.
Grishka will say to you after he hears that response, he'll say, not that I expected to tell the truth, but ask if it hunts us.
Well, I mean, it's already said that it wants to understand.
And then it started destroying these creatures. So
Well,
you know,
that was after I
there's-
told it that they were a threat.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
So to be
worried.
clear, once your character
Do you know
moves
what I'm
beyond
saying?
120 feet, you're not going to be able to communicate with it telepathically anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, it has full telepathic ability unless there's something like a lead wall between you and it, up to 120 feet. There's other things that can disrupt it as well, but not here.
Remember, adventurers, line your metal shields with lead.
Always. Always.
Um,
And then everybody
now-
carries a shield. Everybody carries a shield metal with lead. Everybody gets the phalanx feet. And then you make sure there's at least 5 adventurers, so you guys can all huddle up together with your metal leaded tower shields, phalanx style.
trying to decide whether I give it some hint of what we're doing here as like to appease it. But I don't think that's a good idea because it will reply to everyone.
Well, if I'm not hearing an answer, and you're kind of like, what do you call it? I'll ask you myself.
Oh, okay. That was sorry. The discussion was meta. If you wanted him to ask, "Do you hunt us?" he would ask.
You just ask, do you hunt us?
Yeah.
It doesn't respond, but also, then again, you're also moving out of range as you guys are moving away. So maybe you moved out of range, or maybe it chose not to answer.
Well, that's scary. So,
Yeah. Let's.
I mean, we move, I guess. Where,
No, do you want to
I
hang
don't
back
know.
enough that you can try to perceive what's going on, like still hear it or whatever? Or are you guys like,
I want to see what's going on, but
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
So you want to
Depends what
perceive,
the
you want to be able
others
to
do.
hear it, but not necessarily stay within line of sight, which would be very close. You want it because it's tunnels, right? So you want to be able to
Yeah.
go down and away and around so you can kind of listen. So I imagine Grishka's going
Through your
back. And
perspective with the telescope.
Ooh.
that's going to be difficult because you have obstructions with this,
Oh.
right? It has to make a high intelligence check to be able to pull it off. So it's a little bit more difficult. So, well, the reason why it works so well in the astral plane is because you can look often infinitely without obstruction, right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, anyways, you can move your way back and down the tunnels a good bit, probably to that one where you try to mummer's rough it down the tunnel.
Yeah.
But it only took several steps in, perceived for a while, then went back. And remember, these things have constant ability to perceive magic auras as constant blinds. Like these things can notice a lot around it without even making checks. It just notices. So that being said, you guys go back and around and whatnot and just kind of like listen to where you guys are slightly around the corner, but he's probably like leaning on like the actual corner itself, like right where that kind of split is, and listening. And you hear eventually it goes quiet down that way. and stays quiet.
Okay. Decision time.
Yep.
Alarel's made his opinion clear.
Elro wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
Where do we go?
Hopefully the other vein.
I mean, this thing is too scary. I mean, I kind of agree with Alarel. Even though it didn't attack us before,
Yeah.
we don't know anything about it. We're gonna have to move.
I say we go, and we can always talk to it again if it shows up.
Yeah.
So we go down a different vein and try and find it, because we know they're still working on the whatever the fuck they were doing. So it might be worth.
They're about to finish, so hopefully
like-
the others have finished.
Yeah,
if there is any
likely
other.
the others have finished as well. Hopefully.
Yeah.
If we can find another opening, then I guess what we need to do is get to the arm, which would likely require the directional change thing or a ship or something.
Well, they're preparing it for something. We don't know whether
Yeah.
it's going to be attached or whether it's going to be aligned to distance.
For
Like,
all we
we
know,
just
this is the
don't know.
final piece, and then it fucking like.
I mean, focus on what we can now. We'll just have to
Yeah.
go down that thing, and then carefully and see.
So are we going
What
down
do we
new
say?
tunnel or going down old tunnel?
New tunnel.
Okay. So eventually, like you want to go and speak to this thing, but eventually Alarel's just kind of like, let's go, and you guys, you go back around the corner, Grishka, and you join the other two, and you start making your way
Clarify.
out this.
Ilen doesn't want to. He's terrified that's the only option.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same as Grishka. So I feel like it is the only option.
All right, so you make your way to the down to the other end of the tunnel, and it does eventually lead to one that's sticking out as well. And funny enough, it's also got a stint put inside of it as well. Leading you to the severed wrist, where there's a bit of like flappy tissue and whatnot, whether it be like skin, muscle, whatever it might be, a bit of flappy tissue that's kind of out there. It's not moving around too much because again, there's no gusts of wind, and it seems like it's everything is kind of transpired. It's almost done being moved. You can actually, from where you are, seeing outside of this tissue, you can see the other side of the wrist, as massive as it is, right? You can see this huge form in front of you, and it's already like the chains have already been removed from this. As the stints are being put in, the chains are being removed, and it's now just kind of like free floating forward until eventually it's
We're
going
still
to
invisible?
potentially even bump into the other one to bring it to stop, kind of like bump into it and slowly back away, because what's it going to do, break? So it's going to bump into it most likely, but it's going to take even a bit of time before it gets over there, as it has a slow momentum moving it forward, because it's still a pretty great distance. It's just so massive that you can see it again, taking up your vision. You can see the other broken sides over there. You can see all of the bits of flappy skin, and Grishka, if he had the telescope out, would even be able to see the stints, or at least the area looking like they're ready to receive the stints on the other side, right? You can see this coming towards you. But most importantly, now that you're in the exposed open slit wrist area or severed wrist area, right? You could actually, from the outside, if you wanted to navigate your way back to the tunnel you were just in, you could, in theory, do so. It would take you a moment to find. That's probably the best thing for Alarel, who can just kind of like step away, break gravity, and then pull himself back in wherever he wants to. It's a better thing for him than it is for one of you guys, because he can spacewalk.
Too dangerous for us.
Yeah, he can
Yeah.
spacewalk with precision. With we're talking surgical precision.
So, if we wait for this thing to collide, as soon as it like hits and starts moving away, we could hop.
Yeah. So it's probably not going to move away. They're probably going to collide and stick to some degree. The problem is that how long do we have to wait before that thing likely
Catches up.
yeah.
It's likely it knows where we are. It's very likely it knows where we are.
Hearing you talk like that, Grisha kind of steps a bit back towards the tunnel, but you can hear him speak in a whisper. He says, Phaedron, Phaedra.
I responded. Did you not hear me?
No.
No.
Oh, sorry. The microphone being weird. Yeah.
Did you see what that was?
I'm always here.
Yes, you are. Do you know what it is?
What?
That creature. It spoke in your mind too, I assume.
It's old. It's from beyond where I typically visit. I've no interactions with them, but they are creatures that feed off of others. They are predators to a degree that is probably difficult for you to understand.
It was talking to us. Do they normally do that?
Depends on what its motives are.
Would you suggest we talk to it, Phaedra?
No.
Well, that's all I have to hear on the matter. If even you don't want to talk to it. Can you sense these things?
I don't know how small it fits. I'd rather not find out.
I guess asking you for help is fucking impossible.
He'll say to you kind of coyly, be like, I'm always helpful. I'm helping you now. I could just tell you, fuck off.
Okay,
That's it.
can you,
I'm
help
renaming
me
Phaedra
and,
to Scott.
Phaedra, are you able to go slightly back in the tunnel?
Why?
See if you can talk to it. I want to know if it gets closer.
No.
You know, if it catches us, it'll catch you.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Why not?
If you're dead, I'm no longer bound.
Maybe one of those boons will be asking for you to be my
All of a sudden,
servant
Phaedra appears
forever.
appears as soon as he says maybe one of my boons will. Before he finishes, Phaedra appears within sight. First time Ilen has seen Phaedra in a long time, and first time Alarel has ever seen Phaedra. And so before you get to finish that, he's like, maybe one of my boons will be to ask. And he says, go on.
Careful.
He stops.
And he says that out
mid-sentence.
loud. Out loud, he says,
Yeah, no,
go
Ilen
on.
would just say careful.
Yeah. Not now, Phaedra.
For those of you that aren't familiar with the stream, Phaedra is an imp, an invisible imp that is currently bound to Jake or Grishka's.
Yeah, I inherited Phaedra.
Because of a deal that was made with devils a long time ago, that granted them 3 boons. 2 have been used. Back to you, Jake.
Sorry?
One's been
You
used.
said 2 have been used.
2 have
no?
been used.
One's been used.
1 has been used.
One has
Down
been-
to 1, boy!
What?
We are not
Dust
down
my
to 1.
ears
Thank
this
you.
evening.
Stop trying to steal boons. We have 2 boons. Thank you.
Like,
Yep.
Legitimately, though, there are 2 remaining.
Susie,
Yeah.
did you ask me to save you from the Cave of Wonders?
No,
That counted as a wish.
no, I explicitly did not. I got
Fine print.
disintegrated
Yeah, exactly.
instead.
Fine print.
Nope.
Disintegration is not a boon. um,
Right.
can I take the throw action on Phaedra to just really go long with him? You know, really yank down the tunnel.
So, anyways, he appears and says, go on, and you say, careful. What do you say, Jake?
I say not now, Phaedra. Not now.
He looks about at the large, almost like planet, sorry, like you're almost a moon about to collide with a planet sometime in the next few hours or whatever it is, and he's like, you sure?
Yep. I'm sure.
This thing's a devil, right?
He looks at
I
you
think
with
so.
a bit of a smile.
Alarel's invisible. Yeah. Fuck you, Phaedra.
He looks at you
Can't
with a bit
look
of a
at
smile.
Alarel.
It is.
He looks your direction because you said that out loud.
Well, can it detect this divine essence? Are they supposed to be opposites? Devils, gods? Granted, there's a slight
You in
size
a
difference.
chatty mood?
You say you're in a chatty mood to what, Phaedral?
I said, are you in a chatty mood?
To Phaedral?
Yep.
Okay. Phaedral shrugs and says, when there's people worth talking to.
Oh, I'm sorry Raerin was obliterated. You didn't really serve him very well there, did you?
Ah, Raerin. Raerin was someone with a vision. He's a cock,
He was.
but he had a vision.
True. Very true.
Can you
Thought my boy was turning on me for a bit there.
So can you sense this divine spark at all?
No, there is no divine spark here.
Well, I guess we're waiting. Nothing else to do.
Well, you guys are just gonna wait here. You're not gonna go and investigate anything.
So if we are gonna wait for this thing to come closer to collide, I would note that when this thing collides with the arm, when the hand collides, there's going to be a lot of force. We may want to work out a way to either hunker down or...
We're going to have to retreat back the way we came.
We would still
With any
feel
luck, the
force
thing
there.
thought we went back.
I've still got a short period of invisibility. Let me hop out, have a look round. Might even be able to see if that thing's come out the tunnel. It was headed in that way.
It's not a bad idea. For all we know, hundreds of Gith are fighting that thing.
I doubt that.
So you want to go look, Neil? There's no investigation 5e, so I guess it's just a perception check for you. You have time to kill, so you're welcome to roll a natty 20. Sorry, to take a 20. Or take a 10. About how much time you want to invest. Or you can try to make it quick and just roll a die.
You wouldn't see this, but Alaral shrinks down to his smallest fox form. And then will propel himself out, and I'll take a 20.
I love the image. Obviously, we don't see this because it's invisible. But I love the image of the fox just... and as it keeps changing his direction.
He does it as Count Foxula.
I'm imagining it like full-on ragdolling just around. Like...
Yeah, it's like he's being dragged from like just the scruff, and everything else is just like bad Gmod ragdoll.
Exactly. That's what I'm picturing, and I love it.
So back to the thing there. You're taking your 20 and spending your time trying to looking around. Eventually, you do find the stint that has the fox that's actually on it. You can imagine all around, tons of these veins all along the wrist have been properly prepared. And one of the things that you guys do notice is it's not like the hand has been left. They're still crawling all over the hand. The sheer number of what are they called? Gith that came over here. They're still all over the hand and doing various bits of work and whatnot up on the surface. They just have no reason to be down here anymore because this is like the broken inner area, right? So they're still kind of like going around and handling all of that. You eventually find the stints that you guys had left beforehand, and you find your way into it. And when you do so, you go walking up and you find lying there on the ground is a dead Gith.
Just one.
One dead Gith. Lying there on the ground.
Fuck. Well, it's good. We're going to encounter that thing later. I think it's going to...
Well, I know they can... we know it can shrink. I wonder whether it has shrank to occupy the head of the Gith it killed.
That's
One
what
of
I'm
them.
saying.
That's what I'm thinking.
Its body
Yeah.
snatched it, yeah.
On the other hand, I know that Gith carry magical items often. And I won't pass up this opportunity to
That's
potentially
important,
increase
yeah.
our chances of survival.
There's actually a very specific magic item that was left behind beforehand. The Gith, as you know, would never leave these behind because you literally saw them go out of their way to remove them from your hands before. Whereas, for whatever reason, this gift that's lying here, well, its silver sword is still lying on the ground adjacent to it.
Fuck yeah.
Is there only one silver sword there?
One silver sword there.
Alora will cut his losses. He's obviously, with his remaining visibility, he will revert to human form, grab the sword, and make his way back. He's gathered enough intel.
Sure. So he just kind of finds the body there, kind of checks it out and whatnot, sees that it was killed by a multitude of attacks and whatnot, and then, like you just said, kind of just grabs up the sword and heads back to the others. You remember where this is, easy enough to come back here if you needed to, right? And then you go and you head back to them as your humanoid form, carrying with you a amorphous, constantly shimmering sword. Now, here's an important thing. When it was lying on the ground, let me describe this. When it was lying on the ground, yeah, it has like a bit of like almost like how like a lava lamp has a bit of like a movement to it, like a bit of a trickle to it, but like almost like a lava lamp as it's cooling down, so it's starting to move much more slowly with that wax and water, right? So it has like a little bit of movements to it. When you pick it up, the thing starts just like globbing and moving about like a fully active lava lamp. Like it's constantly moving and changing shape. Its weight is all over the place. It's not something that's easily wielded. Let's just say it's not something that's easily even carried because it's constantly shifting its weight. So even if you're trying to make precise movements like narrowly acrobatics, like holding this thing is literally throwing your weight off, because of how much it's shifting its weight this way and that way, how much it's overbalancing and whatnot. The easiest thing for you to do, honestly, is to take it, because the hilt does not shift, right? It's the blade that does so. Is to take this thing after like moving around with a bit, it's kind of like landing yourself, grabbing a bit of rope, wrapping it around the thing, which is moving throughout within the rope itself, and it's kind of like tying it somewhere to your core, like somewhere to your back or whatever it is, so it's not out shifting your weight far from your body, which would have a greater effect. And then continuing to bring your way back over to the other two. So when you go to the other two, you are able to produce the sword and your news. Go ahead.
Well, only one Gith corpse, 2 Gith fighting.
We saw that thing shrink, given what they look like. Actually, you know what? Can I make a check to know if these things do that? Because
you've already made your checks, and warnings and whatnot have been given to you beforehand. At this point in time, just kind of you can make your assumptions.
Okay, so I think
with Phaedral's with Phaedral's thing as well. It's like out of game, it's like you know it, but in game, probably I don't know if we've ever encountered anything that can do that before. So
yeah, so
but again, it's one of those things where you can definitely make your assumptions. It's just you don't know. So
Yeah.
Go ahead.
it's done something with the body. Is all I can think.
I did find.
Or
well, if it didn't escape because the other Gith would be swarming that time.
Did
given
find
the
this though.
state-
He would take the silver sword off his back.
They did a lot to make sure we didn't get our hands on these last time.
Never got my hand on one of these before.
Well, there you have.
Not for my hands. He'd pass it to Grishka.
Please tell me it forms into an axe. That'd be so cool.
And then it gets
I mean-
taken.
Oh, you motherfucker! Gets formed into an
Phaedral
axe.
just instantly, like, it goes into his hands, forms into an axe. Phaedral's like, thank you.
No, even better, because you know how he like full on like lightsaber pulled it back to the Gith last time. It's like, oh cool, it's turned into an axe, and it's gone. It's up and back to. They've got a recall button.
Recall. Nice. Anyways, go ahead, Jake. You're gonna say something.
Grishka would take it.
It's
Kind of examine
equally
it.
as amorphous in your hand as it was in his.
Yeah.
Oh well, I can try and
wonder.
identify it, can't I? How it works and that sort of thing, can't I?
You already understand it from the conversations that you had beforehand and the warnings you got even from the captain and whatnot beforehand, that these literally have the ability to sever the silver string that keeps somebody astrally projected or linked to their body. More than that, you were warned that there are creatures here that have the ability to, as the captain was able to do to you that one time, that have the ability to separate your astral form from your physical form. Which means, in theory, they could separate your astral and physical forms, cut the string, and send you careening through the astral plane. You know what I mean? So, which would be bad.
Yes. I also just sort of more meant like if I can help him understand how to make it do what he wants it to do rather than just blah 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 blah.
That would take a lot of time to figure these things out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an idea. I am going to put it on the ground.
And smash it.
No, does it solidify or does it just keep moving on the ground? If nobody's touched.
Yeah, once you kind of put it on the ground, it's still moving. But again, whatever, that does not look like a weapon. Whatever form it is on the ground, whatever kind of like weird, kind of twisted form it is on the ground, bent in multiple places, looks kind of like concept art, abstract art. Whatever it is that you see out down there, it slows down the movements considerably, but doesn't look like a wieldable weapon.
Right, can I take out from my haversack? Can I take out my bedroll and roll the weapon up in it?
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
All right, is it twitching around in the bedroll?
No. It stays pretty steady. Again, it
I'll
was
put it in the haversack.
slight movements like before. Again, like the lava lamp cooling down. I say lava lamp cooling down, but this is 2021, and I don't know if everybody here has ever had a lava lamp. Because I had one when I was like before a teenager. You know, like.
Lava
I
lamps,
miss
cool
lava
skull.
lamps.
But my aunt has one. It was funny actually because I was visiting recently, and I was like, "Oh, you have a lot," and that looks new. Like it looks like you bought that in the past 5 years. Who buys a lava lamp in 2016? But hey, she did.
I've seen there's a new
All right,
trend.
well,
Cylinders like this big, and having a jellyfish in it with the light on the bottom, like the lava lamp lights.
Wait, a real
So it's
jellyfish?
just a jellyfish in this cylinder like that, and it just floats around aimlessly. Very lava
a
lamp.
real jellyfish?
No,
Yeah.
a lava jellyfish.
Now, can you get a box jellyfish to put in there? In case you have like those pesky PCs that always like to ruin your storylines.
Don't think you can fit one of them in there.
I'm sure you can find a way.
Yeah, it
Oh,
needs to
well,
be a
I'm gonna
box.
put this
It
in
needs
there.
to be a
Haversack.
box shaped
All
like
right.
that.
So that's where this silver sword is going because we don't have time to work it out now.
Sure. Okay.
How
Ah.
close is the
Yep.
wrist?
It's a waiting game now. Again.
Yep, no, that's fine because he spent a considerable amount of time looking for this and whatnot. Now, again, you guys just wait, and there's nothing exciting to do here unless there's any
We need to-
preparations, like you were mentioning, preparations for the impacts that you got to do. I will handle that the actual last bit in a second. Go ahead, Tesh.
Well, I was
Are
trying
we-
to think how can we dig in so we don't get
Oh.
just like
We can prepare ourselves for the impact. So we're in a long vein, right? Like a long straightish tunnel. We have rope, right? We have rope and sharp objects, as well as things like bedrolls.
we definitely want to be near the end though because we don't want to wait too long to then jump to it in case it starts moving away again.
Neil, are you
Don't.
suggesting you cuddle with your sharp objects inside your bedroll for when it impacts?
I was actually going to suggest like we just have a bedroll with all the sharp objects put through it at the bottom to catch us. You know. No, so we use sharp objects as pitons. We tie rope to them and embed them in the rock.
I
and the
have
flesh.
I have pitons in my back.
Oh,
Why don't
Fantastic.
you elongate the I?
Pitons,
Vowel, consonant, vowel. Python.
because I'm not American.
piton.
I mean, vowel, consonant, vowel. You would elongate the vowel.
I'm not American.
I mean, that's usually how it works.
No,
Is it Python?
it's not. We say things differently. Have you not worked this
You
out
invented
yet,
the
Scott?
language.
Yeah, and you
Vowel,
you,
consonant, vowel.
You threw
elongate the
tea
first
into the
vowel.
ocean, Scott.
Well, yeah, because it's an inferior beverage.
Alrighty, let's keep going. Let's do
So
this.
we use pitons to attach rope to the balls, and we tie ourselves into the rope as a suspension. Not super tight, but so as you go, it builds up the resistance. I mean, unfortunately, you need to make sure it's not too long, Because if the rope is too long, the effect it will have is it will suspend you and it will bring you to an instant stop and snap you horribly. So it's a short length of rope to absorb a part of the... So it splits the impact into 2 parts. So that you go like this.
More like this.
Rather than snap. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
And we're obviously moving away from where this stent thing is as well.
Yes.
Right?
We don't want to be too far away, but yes.
Yes, you want to be a fair way away in case a crunch happens.
Yep.
A crunch.
Why don't
we
you
want
guys
to
go...
be close enough that we can get to it quickly once we're done, but we want to be far enough away that we don't get crunched.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about the. We definitely want to be far enough away not to get crunched. We don't want to be in the crumple zone.
Yes, exactly.
Why don't you guys go ahead and roll me an intelligence check real quick. All of you are welcome to do so, or 2 of you can aid one, giving that last person a +3.
I'll aid.
I'll aid.
Okay, no pressure. Oof.
Oh,
I'm
my
a
lord.
lucky
You can
man.
tell that
That's
Raerin's
14.
not here.
Try and luck it.
15 at least.
You got a 15. You hit a 15.
You can
on
see
an
that
intelligence check. You're right.
this thing moving towards the other one. I mean, honestly, it's not moving very quickly. It is moving slowly towards the other thing there. I mean, if this was like 2 objects moving towards each other, like honestly, it looks like maybe 10 miles an hour or something like that is what it's moving. It's not like it's incredibly fast. The issue is the amount of fucking force behind it because of how heavy, like how much mass there is behind this thing moving. That's causing some degree.
It's like
of
dropping that cruise ship into the...
So I guess we got to worry less about us jolting around and more about where the crumple zone's going to be, which is probably what those stints are. Probably trying to make it less crumply on impact. Is that the right takeaway? Is what you're saying?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a lot of that happens. It's going to be a lot of, but again, not because it's like this hard. It's not like a car hitting a person on the side of the road.
It's going to be a crawl.
Yeah, it's a Mack truck, 10 miles an hour going into a building as opposed to a car hitting a person at 80.
If you've ever seen those ice sheets on lakes that just slowly crush into the shore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Neil's reference earlier with the into the sea, correct? So
Oh yeah. So then, I guess I would state that, saying that we should definitely support ourselves, but that we don't need to worry about that as much as being ready to be on the move because it may crumple.
Okay. So you guys prepare yourselves for this, but I think this means that you want to kind of move a bit back further into the So as you're waiting for this thing to get closer, and it's at the point where you're like, it's going to be happening soon. It's going to be happening. I mean, time doesn't pass, unfortunately, but inside of less than an hour at some point is getting close. It's getting to the point where if you stick your head out and look around, all you can see is wrist all around. You have to literally physically remove yourself by lifting yourself away from the gravity outside of all the flappiness of the wrist to even be able to look up and be like, oh, look, we haven't touched yet. Because it takes in all, because you have a semi-cortical vision because of like the flaps and whatnot around you. It takes up your entire perception that you can see looking about normally, right? Because you're a bit recessed in. So you know that it's happening within the hour. Most likely it's happening soon. So you guys are going to start moving yourself back in. Whoever it was that would have gone and done that last little perception there, we can even imagine it's literally Aurorum, right? Because he can precision kind of step out and be like...
He's also the one that can like flee the fastest if he needs to.
Exactly.
Just, hi, direction down. Whee!
As Aurorum is going to rejoin the others, he would actually hear, where are you going? In his mind.
Can I tell it's the creature from before?
I mean, it's just a voice in your head, but the voice doesn't carry any signature tones or anything.
Which the other one didn't before either.
Correct.
I'm going to survive.
And its response would be, admirable. But where are you going? And I imagine at this point in time, you might even want to look around, obviously. And you would see that inside the tunnel behind you, not far behind you, is the aforementioned Gith that you had fought beforehand. No wounds on it. It seems to be in perfectly fine shape.
You're that creature from before, then?
I don't know what you mean by that question.
Can Alarel imagine it?
Oh, you mean try to send an image over?
Well,
Yes.
he'll imagine it and say, this.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
could
yeah.
maybe read it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can send an image, and the Gith standing on the other side of you, which also have the ability to use telepathy, as previously spoken about, would say, my apologies, would respond saying, in a way, yes. Where are you going? Not immediately. Clearly you should rejoin the other two. But where are you going? What is your purpose for being so far beyond the enemy lines? For while you may not see them as an enemy, certainly they see you as one.
True enough. Why I'm surprised you don't see us as an enemy.
I wish to understand.
We don't know exactly where we're going. We are looking for something.
What is this something?
Well, we're just like every mortal, really, hoping to find God.
If, I wish this thing was capable of a sense of humor, because that's fantastic.
It definitely does not chuckle at that. It might be able to understand that there is a joke there, but it doesn't chuckle at that. And it'll respond saying, this creature. Sorry, this place that we are. You perceive it as what you're looking for.
The road to what we are looking for, certainly. Really?
Funny enough, at this point in time, you can imagine what's his name there. Alarel actually literally hears a kitten's meow, as well as almost tasting something slightly spicy. It's strange. Literally hears a kitten's meow as well as tasting something spicy, almost like a mildly hot pepper he had just taken a bite into. Go ahead and make me a will save, please.
Say hello. Oh, you're so pretty. Will save.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay. It asks you're satisfied with that, I imagine?
Yeah, I'm not gonna look.
It asks the question, what is this place to you? And in your mind, you actually respond with images and whatnot of a perceived hand, a perceived body, a perceived creature, something more powerful, something beyond, more or less, it now understanding what reference you were making with that joke that you had said beforehand. And those images kind of like come forward in your mind. You were keenly aware of the fact that they were brought to the front of your mind. You know that it was probed for. Not just because recollection. You can tell that it was probed for inside of your mind. And so as it asks that question, you see this happening. I don't know if you would also give a mental or verbal response to it.
I think Alarel would tense up. This thing's rooting through his mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the initial response.
Okay. Relax. I'm only seeking to understand. You think this is more than just land. That is why we can survive off of it. That is strange. I've long looked to understand why it is that we can consume any part of it. And it works well. I'm one of the originals here, and so I have learned much from it. But you might be able to teach me more. Your allies, they know more?
Not really.
You're
Well,
clearly more intelligent than the rest. From the fact you just haven't tried to take everything you want to know from my head, I see you understand that knowledge is only part of knowing.
You didn't answer the question.
Unlike you, I cannot root through my companions' heads.
Nods understanding and says, bring me to them. Perhaps we can aid one another for a time.
I will bring you to them. But if you try to harm them, rest assured that this entire place will know where we are.
I understand your threat. And then starts walking forward. You lead them to the other two. You see Alarel come walking in with a gift behind him. Betrayal! He was one of them the whole time! He's a shape-shifting
Their
thing!
heads off!
I
That's right, it's me, Messy! I betrayed you.
No,
Oh,
I
man.
think
That's a
we
Witcher.
could probably assume that, like, well, if he's betrayed us, we're fucked anyway. So let's just wait and find out.
Yep. So he comes walking up. I don't know if you guys have an immediate
Walking
reaction,
up, point-
like Grishka,
I'll
like
point
jumping
at
up with a
Ilen
weapon in hand, or
and say, eat him first.
You fuck.
So do you guys have an immediate reaction when he returns with the gift behind him?
Confusion.
Yeah, I'll stand next to Ilen. My hand goes to Orsk straight away.
Alarel's going to put his hands up.
I know, Steve. We planned that out. That was so much fun. Go ahead.
This one here, I'm sure you recognize him. It thinks that maybe we could be of use to each other. It wants to know more, and so far it hasn't done more than rumble around in my memories, which is more than I can say for others of its kind.
I was gonna say there's a silence from Grishka. He's assessing what's going on.
Ilen would, guessing what's going on, just hello again in his head.
It would respond saying, greetings. I wish to understand. Why are you here in the corpse of a god?
Well, we're here to find. This I would be saying out loud so someone can stop him.
Yeah,
Yeah. We're here to find the spark of the god.
You see Alarel just
Grishka
like...
would look to you straight away.
Alarel just like face palms.
Look, it's the idea that he can. Ilen understands that. It's just if it wants to, it can read that anyway.
Yes, but usually you go through torture first.
Ilen, you give information too easy. We've seen this thing eating it. It is eating the god.
Truth be told, I did not understand what it was until very recently. I require nourishment, as do you. My nourishment makes me stronger, as does yours. It just seems that this place is able to provide far more dense nourishment than most creatures are able to do. I've enjoyed my snack, but while that is beneficial, there are other ways to seek nourishment. There are other ways to gather knowledge. We can converse and perhaps collaborate for a short period of time, or we can go about this through other means.
Collaborate. How you say for a short time, which leads me to think that as soon as our mutually beneficial collaboration, you might decide that we're no longer of use and to be disposed of.
Just because you're not of use doesn't mean you need to be disposed of. There are other ways to separate from a union, amicably, peacefully. You could potentially go on your own way. My hunger has been satiated, if my curiosity has not.
How long
I
have you
wonder-
been here?
It said it was one of the oldest. I wonder if its personality is impacted by what it's been eating.
Good question.
You ask me a question of time. Time I understand from previous details I've learned in the past. However, I lack the capacity to perceive time, as time as you explain it, or as I've heard it explains, does not exist here.
Okay, let's cut to the chase. What do you want?
To understand.
What collaboration with us do you require? And to what end?
You know where we are, what this is, and have a destination you wish to get to. I want to understand why and what will come of that. This place has been my home for a considerable amount of time. You can see why I would be curious what it is you intend to do in my home.
Would it surprise you if we didn't really know?
No.
This spark.
Tenses,
Well-
Krishna, tenses again.
He's already said it.
It's like a reaction, yeah.
We're here to find out if it exists, to prove it exists.
We're here to get it.
These creatures, it says, gesturing to its own gith body that it's in. These creatures are in vast numbers here. I could feel them for a few moments. There's a network. They speak to one another. They speak to one another often. It's not a hive, but they touch base from time to time. The disappearance of some will eventually be noticed, even if their bodies are not. So, staying nearby would be bad, but it also begs the question, why are they here? What is their interest? What are they looking for? With the sheer number of them, and the amount of effort put into bringing together what it is that you have showed me, he says, talking to Alrel, what it is that you have showed me, and then you see a couple images from the mind of what has been kind of imagined, if not directly perceived by Alrel in the past. What you have shown me, then there must be credence to what it is that you are searching for. Or there are far more fools here than any of us had previously believed. If you're going to succeed, we need to act soon and swiftly.
Can't really act until this connects.
Why?
We
We are not from here. I cannot travel freely like LRL or I imagine yourself.
But I understand how, and you can adjust memories, right? Take my memory and put it in them.
Abilities can be shared, however, it's not so easily done. They must be taken from one and put into another. Stretching it a bit thin would weaken it for all, or one could have it taken from them and given to another. I would say that you're remaining here till after the impact. The impact would be more devastating on a smaller chunk of lands than it would on a larger chunk to disperse the energy from the impact, would it not? Also, you have to try to stay nearby to the entrance of the tunnel here, as you would want to be able to quickly get to its entrance to make that jump after before they separate too far. Why would you not make the jump beforehand when they get close and allow you to flee from the point of impact?
I made a jump once before, and I fell through the earth and crashed into this cavern. Nearly died. I don't really want to repeat that again.
We are not as proficient with traversing this plane.
Looks to Alarel, and you have complete proficiency. That is a question.
Yes. And so did the thing that you're in.
Nods, understanding. Then it is settled. We will cross first, and then I will give to them our ability to cross.
I didn't even think of that. That's genius. This thing is smart.
Too smart.
That could work.
If you help us reach our goal, then I will share with you my knowledge of other planes. Places I have lived. I have stayed for many years. You get what you want, we get what we want. It's empty gift head.
I won't lie.
It's not in here.
I was genuinely thinking for a moment there, as well as responding to an email from work following up that conversation I had earlier. Responded. So he says, you will impart even more knowledge from beyond this place, because I must say, I have very few memories, very little understanding beyond here. I remember very little from beyond here. I will take you on this offer. There will be a degree of separation from you and your ability. As long as they have it, they can use it, and once it returns to you, it will be distant. Much like, thinks for a few moments, like it's trying to come up with an example you would have. Much like if you were sitting too long, and then you stood too quickly. Your leg would be numb for a period of time. You could use it, but rigid and weak. And you would slowly, painfully gain back that ability again.
Alright, will look to the others and nod and say, then it's a deal.
Right?
I have a concern. Do you plan to accompany us this whole time? Or are you helping us get over there?
I wish to understand.
He turns and kind of looks at Ilen and kind of like squints at him a little bit, and he says, I'm worried you might get the temptation to try and eat or get at the spark. We need it.
I don't know what the spark is, or why it is that you need it. Perhaps we can discuss these details as we make our way.
Grishka, if this entropy couldn't destroy this, as far as we know, there's nothing that can.
I believe it's being honest with its motives, at least as much as it can be, in regards to its wanting to understand. I think right now, mutually beneficial. At least
Seems we have little to no choice, really.
My crew are probably all dead. I'm not going to let us fail now.
He nods. He'll put his hand on Orsk though, and he'll try and get a feeling from the axe. He'll say, "I hope we're making the right decision."
Honestly, the axe is not a very trusting person from those outside of your immediate, like people who earn the trust of somebody like Orsk, just like somebody like Grishka, which is why he's not wanting to kind of like move forward easily. So yeah, there's some serious apprehension, concern, and even a degree of confusion because what exactly is going on here is kind of beyond the intelligence of somebody like Orsk, right? So,
okay. I have an idea. I'm gonna wait till we start the cross, because I have an idea about what to do once Alorel and it do their crossing while they're doing their crossing.
Cool. We'll take care of that right now before we end for the day. So, you guys make your way back down to the tunnel. And
This is fucking terrifying. This is Alien Isolation vibes all over.
Yes.
What choice do we have?
I know. We are. We have no choice.
Sometimes you just got to make eye contact with that bad dragon, then sit on it.
I am so glad I saved one use of the dice.
Augury, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, so decide who it is in chat, though they don't roll yet. Think about who it's going to be. So you guys walk to the edge of the wrist to the stint, and you make your way outside the stint. And it investigates the thing, and as it like runs its fingers along it as it's moving there, it actually will say out loud from the actual voice and lips of the Gith. You actually hear the word "curious" coming from it, but it speaks in because it's a Gith, right? It actually speaks in the Gith's language, which I don't think any of your characters understand. So it actually says,
"Is it like a gift something?"
Yeah, it's one of their otherworldly languages. Yeah. So you guys, but. You know, for meta, it says curious as it's rubbing its fingers along it. And then it'll look to, what's his name, Alorel? And then it just springs forward and just starts free flying through the air all the way to the other side. As Alorel and him are free flying across, Alorel, you can look and see, you have to be like directly in the middle to look up past all the little flappies that are there. Again, they're not flapping around in the wind because there's no wind, but you can see like the flappies are about to start touching each other like really soon.
Oh,
like,
shit. Okay,
you are very close. So
The flappies are touching.
You guys easily make the gap across, and both of you are on the other side.
On a gif of Tesh's face there, he just goes.
Once you get to the other side, Tesh, I'm going to have you do your ability in a second. Once you get to the other side, it's actually going to, as soon as it lands on the other side and Alorel lands like adjacent to it, just behind it, whatever it is, it reaches out with a hand and literally, because Gith have very large hands and Alorel's not a very big person, it touches the forehead of him specifically with a thumb and and pinky finger right over his temple, and you can imagine the other fingers very specifically placing themselves atop the head of where Alorel is. Alorel, immediately when this happens, you instantly, first of all, this thing is touching me. That you can imagine the immediate reaction to that. But beyond just the natural reaction to that sort of a thing, you being a predator yourself, like a human, right? Also feeling that predatory kind of, you feel this like supernatural, unnatural, like you know that this thing is powerful. You've seen it, you've perceived it, you know it, and then just as it's touching you, like it just, you feel so vulnerable to it. And then beyond that, it starts kind of like reaching into your mind. You could feel its mind almost like a power drill, drilling into your mind, looking for something specific. You've already discussed what it was going to do, but it didn't give you like it didn't give you the nice little, all right, buddy, are you ready? I'm going to do it now. It just started drilling into your mind with its own mental ability. Do you like allow yourself to give to it what it's looking for, or do you like and like will save to stop it?
Alorel definitely flinches in the first. Like, it grabs and he like physically flinches, mentally flinches, and then you see him screw his eyes tight shut, and he focuses on his understanding of how to move in the plane. and he just focuses on that to the exclusion of all else as best he can.
Perfect. So I actually still need you to roll me a will save. It's a DC 8 to allow him to do something so predatory with little advice. Crush it. So you easily allow him. So it's to open your mind. So we'll save to open your mind. You allow him to take from you. Literally, it's feet borrowing. He removes from you your ability to have these 2 feats, which is it's like astral affinity or whatever it is, right? Planar affinity 1 and planar affinity 2, or advanced planar affinity, whatever it's called, improved planar affinity. He takes those 2 feats and he literally sends them across the way from you and sends them over to like the lend feat ability to give it over to say Grishka, and gives his own ability over to say Ilen. But as this is happening, and we're going to get to the effect of that, while they are crossing, Ilen, you wanted to?
I'm going to roll the dice asking, is working with, and like obviously how it's the intent when you roll it rather than the intent of the words, because obviously I don't know the name of this thing, but is working with this thing a good idea?
Yeah. Magic is smart, right? There are limitations. Phrasing is important, but magic is smart to a degree, right? So who is rolling for you? And what is your question? Before they roll,
Steve.
Okay, before you roll, Steve.
Yeah.
What is your question you're asking before he rolls the D100?
Is working with this thing a good idea? Is working with this thing good?
Okay.
Will it work out for us, basically?
Yeah.
Is working with this thing good?
So it's wheel or woe. So should we be working with this
wheel
thing?
or woe? Should we be working with this? Yeah.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. All right, Steve, wheel or woe, should he be working with us? In chaos, I trust.
So which one's which? High, low is which?
High is bad in this, so low is good. Yep.
Oh yeah.
So it's a
That's right. It was 80.
80%
80 and
chance.
above. Yeah.
So either way, you succeed in being able to get this, and it says wheel and woe.
Figured. Okay. Well, at least the wheel part. At least it's not entirely woe, because that's what I was terrified of. Is it just being woe?
Perfect. Food fight.
Yeah, it's going to lead us to where we need to go, and then
I would tell Grishka immediately, wheel and more.
Oh look, there's somebody named Orikosh. It's so similar to Orosk. So Orsk, sorry. At least in my brain it was. I guess it's, now that I say it out loud, it's not at all. Don't mind me. So anyways,
fight, I love that.
Funny enough, everybody, Lunchbox, thank you so much for the food fight. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, we're literally ending right now.
Timing.
So
timing.
Very much appreciate it. But while you're here, since you just read it, I'll give you a quick little recap of what just transpired in our game. Short version is the party is inside the astral plane, literally riding inside the severed hand of an ancient and lost giant deity, literally walking through the tunnels that are its veins and arteries inside the hand. As the hand is being carted by a whole bunch of Gith to the rest of its, or at least most of, if not completely the rest of this dead god's ancient body. Its hand is literally about to collide with the wrist and the rest of the body as it's kind of connecting there. They've met with an intellect devourer, if you know what that has recently eaten the brain and taken over the body as of one of the Gith that they recently encountered. And for whatever reason, and they're all very concerned about this, thank you for the sub.
Oh yeah, what if we assemble Cthulhu? Oh no.
What? No. Recently decided to work with temporarily this intellect devourer that has been surviving off of consuming this dead god's body for who knows how long, eons. Time doesn't really pass here, so it could be infinitely old, right? Anyways, so this creature you're currently working with, jumping the gap between the severed wrist to the severed wrist on the other side to the forearm, and about to make your way into searching for the divine spark of this dead god. Awesome. That kind of like finishes up where we were the session. The two of you, as you cast that spell, you get the wheel and woe response from your augury. You can also feel just instant understanding, pure understanding as the feats planar affinity for the astral plane and improved planar affinity for the astral plane come into your mind. You understand gravity, relativity, all this stuff with such precision that all of a sudden you can just, with the thought of just a simple thinking for a moment, traverse the gap. And here's the fun part, because it's never mattered before. Neil has an average intelligence, so his intelligence is 10. He moves an average speed because his intelligence is 10. Grishka, being slightly smarter, actually can use that precision better than Alarel can. He can actually move quicker than Alarel can with his high intelligence. And Ilen, with his 16 intelligence, can actually move even faster. Moving through the astral plane actually requires mental, not physical ability. It's actually based off of your mental stats. So you can actually move with extreme speeds across that gap. So as you go zipping past, you're just like kind of like pencil diving, whoop, right down the vein on the other side.
Just gaming this, just full on just.
And there's games kind of right through the tunnels or whatever it is that's there, getting very far away from where this massive island, effectively, or this mass is going to smash in with this other mass, leaving poor Alarel to, and just has to start running as quickly as he can through there, because he can't do it as easily. You can still, of course, make your wisdom check DC 16 to make gravity down, but that's not exactly the best stat for you, if I remember correctly. So you're probably better off just running as quickly as you can to get away from where the impact is going to be. So we're going to thank you for the host poetry stud, also coming in literally as we're ending. So we're going to start next session with your characters literally making acrobatics and or fortitude saves, acrobatic checks and or fortitude saves from the impact of the hands connecting with the wrist for a moment before it slowly starts backing away afterwards. To end there. But before we go anywhere else, why don't we start saying our little bit of an outro? Tesh, you go first. What have you been doing lately? Why do we care, Tesh?
Hi, I'm Tesh of the Tesh Tube. Me in chat there. Follow me on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Twitter, if you want to hear all the things I'm doing, such as these D&D games, or if I'm joining other people on stream. And then follow me on YouTube. Right now I'm uploading, I just uploaded some Devour and Phasmo. So if you enjoy watching people get scared, go watch that. And you should follow me on Twitch if you would all love Monster Hunter, Satisfactory, Destiny, or Warframe. Any of those games, I mean, you're going to be playing a lot of those games. I've just got the update for the new Satisfactory, and I'm setting up. I actually just got recently this, so I can stream Monster Hunter.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
that's
so
the one that goes
streaming
into a
Monster Hunter
USB port,
Rise.
right?
Yes, I don't have the one that is in actually built into the computer yet.
Yeah, that's the one I have. I won't lie, I might eventually switch over to the other one just to like clean up some of the USB like power drawing.
It
you know
definitely.
what I mean?
I understand that. Yeah.
If I do that though, that means I'll have it extra. So, but anyways, go ahead.
Oh no, that's basically it. I'm just super excited for Monster Hunter Rise.
Gotcha. Cool. I really want to play Monster Hunter again. I had a lot of fun when I played with you and Wade before, but we'll have to play again eventually.
Yes.
We'll see if things go through at work and I have more time to spend. Realistically, it's just I don't have to travel as much.
Hit me up anytime if I'm awake. I'm up for it.
Well, if I don't have to travel to and from work, I also don't have to get ready for work. Because like right now, I have to literally like I get dressed for work and whatnot. If I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, I'm literally just going to my basement to work every day or hanging out in my like living room or dining room to work every day. Then I have more time to focus on other things, you know. So and that's the plan with potentially taking a transitional job to do this sort of a thing. But who knows? I already told Brittany my goal for 2022, early 2022, is to find a part-time job, unless like things go very well with transitions this way, to find a part-time job that offers health insurance. Because that would be my goal for like early next year or even potentially later this year. It's just where we've had our February conversation like we said we would, and 2021 is literally actively seeking ways to transition more, like actively trying to transition. That's 2021's goal, is find routes to transition. 2022's goal is make the transition happen this year if it hasn't already. So we will more, Tesh. More.
Good. Yes.
More. Yes.
Yes.
But I'm sure we'll find more things for us to do in the future, Tesh, during this time slot, during this day.
Yes, I'm sure we will.
We're going to have a chatter very, very soon after this session ends. Neil, what are you doing in a very short period of time? I know time's weird because of UK.
Yeah, you can find me in like 2.5 3.5 hours, something like that, on twitch.tv/Olliran, where I'm playing a Deadless in a D&D 5e campaign, where I speak very slowly compared to all my other characters.
If you don't know what a Deadless is, I actually got to play one a long time ago on Ollie's channel forever ago. It's a homebrew world, and it's a homebrew class. More or less, if you ever wanted to play as an undead in World of Warcraft, guess what? You can do so in Ollie's world too. Intelligence to a degree, non-evil to a degree, undead creatures.
Yeah, it's great fun, and it's very different to my usual set of characters as well. You know, I'm not dashing and beautiful and charismatic like usual. I mean, obviously there is a little bit of that because it's me, but less than usual.
Perfect. So go check out him play that one. And Jake, how's Monday night been going for you? I won't lie, I had so much I wanted to do this past Monday, and you could see how I was like transitioning into a different part of the story. Like, okay, bring it down, bring it there. But then, you know,
moving away from the kingdom focus, which we've had for so long, and into storytelling.
Yeah, because the issue is like your kingdoms have a reason to trust one another, but your characters don't have a reason to be even tighter together, which is actually funny enough brought up literally that session. Like, yeah, like while you guys are starting your first real adventure together, you guys are like,
I stated it.
Trust you. Oh, was it you that said it? Okay.
Yeah. It's because Sal's like, have you told us all about your how you became a Blood Raider and this and that? And I was like, no, I met you like a couple of months ago.
Yeah. So again, it's nice that we can actually finally have like a semi-bonding moment, and some really interesting stuff's happening with finding these like whitish trees and whatnot that you guys have come across. But anyways, more on that this upcoming Monday. Hopefully there's no tech difficulties and whatnot. Hey guys, just so you guys know, we are playing next week normal. I think the week after that, for Wednesday, I think I'm skipping that 1 week, and then we'll be back the week after that. I have to skip the 1 week 2 weeks from now, just because of it's whatever week the week of Easter is. So whatever week has Wednesday prior to Easter, I'm going to be working a full day that week so that I can take the Saturday off before Easter. So I have to like put more hours in here to take more hours from there, so I can like spend time around the house making it really fun for my daughter. So we will be skipping the stream that Wednesday morning just so I can work my job to take time off for my daughter. You know what I mean? So please bear with us there. But other than that, things should be fine.
The first Sunday in April is Easter, right?
Correct. So it's like the 29th or whatever of...
You're correct then.
Yeah, whatever that Wednesday is, yeah. So
the 31st.
So I think that's not next week, that's the week after that. We'll be off, but then we'll be back the following week. So, cool. All right, awesome. Thank you all very much for coming by. Thank you, Jake, for being a part of 2 campaigns. Neil, for being so long-winded. And Tesh, for always being the glue. All right. See you guys next week as they potentially complete their quest for the divine spark.
Or die horribly.
We're gonna feed Anno to the intellect devourer.
Just think of it this way: if your character dies, that means you get to make a new character that is an intellect devourer that slowly kills the other PCs. That's all. We gotta find somebody to raid. Give me a moment. I think there's somebody streaming. Okay, the only one I see is Geef, so we're gonna raid Geef. Oh, and I gotta make sure I follow what's his name?
Lunchbox.
Josh.
Yes.
No, I already follow Lunchbox, and I've raided him a bunch of times. He's a friend of, I think, Rena's. I gotta make sure I follow Josh with Lost Initiative, so I can raid Josh with Lost Initiative, because I keep forgetting to. I'm a bad friend. Bye, everybody.